The reason you can't put any muscle and get stronger is because of a few things that you are missing out. You go to the gym, you lift the weights, you go home, you have your protein shake, and you think everything is fine. But you have to understand that the body understands stimulus. So what it means is when I lift a certain weight, okay, there is tension in the muscle, all right? So I lift the weights and there is tension in the muscle. Now you might say, okay, so if I just stand here and just flex all my muscles at once, is that a stimulus? No, but you need tension. So when you lift weight, you don't go from A to B as fast as possible. The muscle needs to do the work. So for it to do the work and break those muscle fibers, so then the body heals those muscle fibers and they get stronger and more efficient. And you also provide a stimulus in the nervous system, so it becomes more efficient by incorporating more motor patterns from to the muscle fibers. Basically means if I have 1,000 muscle fibers in my bicep, every time I do an exercise, my nervous system activates them, right? But it doesn't activate all 1,000. It activates the numbers, by the way, I'm just making them up. It activates 3. And every time you do the movement, it continues to activate more and more. So you don't just break down the muscle fibers, you also activate the muscle fibers. It's 2 different stimulations, okay? So we have 2 different stimulations. And also we know that just tension doesn't provide enough stimulation. So what we need to do is pick a weight, a dumbbell, a machine, calisthenics, it doesn't matter. Just it needs to provide some resistance, okay? So that it basically we have to put some effort into it. But when you go and you lift the weight from A to B as fast as possible, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it might not be as fast, but it's like this. This is too fast. You need to slow down a little bit because we need the muscle to work as much as possible, right? So tension. We need tension. How do we get that? From the tempo of the weight. That's one. The second one is the weight. If I can lift 40 pounds, right, for a bicycle, okay, I do 40 pounds, let's say. I'm not doing bodybuilding, by the way, myself. I train only with dumbbells and running and pull-ups and calisthenics and whatever, martial arts. But just as an example, it's not just for bodybuilders, this video, okay? Even if you do calisthenics, is the same principles apply to everything that has resistance. So I go A to B and I go slower pace. If I have a light weight, I'm going to need to do that with like 40 times, 40 reps. That's too much. It doesn't provide enough stimulus. It doesn't break down enough muscle fibers. It doesn't activate enough muscle fibers. I need heavier weight. So the amount you do the repetitions, the amount of repetitions basically, every set matters. I will give you the number, which is 3. I will go up to 8 the most, okay? If you want to build muscle and you want strength, 3 to 8. So no matter the exercise you do, 3 to 8 repetitions. If you can do more than that, you back away, okay? You can still build muscle, by the way, even with 20 repetitions. But I do not want you to do that. It's not efficient enough. And also, when you have a heavier weight, the movement slows down, right? If you have a weight you can lift 20 times, you're gonna go a little bit faster. But if you have a heavier weight, you have no choice other than move in a certain pace. That's 2, okay? Repetition range and also the tension, which they go hand in hand. Tempo basically, and the weight you use, the load. Now, the stimulus, which comes from those 2 mostly, okay? Every time I want my body to change, I need to provide enough stimulus for it to happen. So if I do 8 repetitions, like we said, but they are not hard enough intensity, if it's not intense enough, the stimulus is too low. Let me explain. Let's say your threshold is here. You went to the gym and you did your exercise and you push yourself until here. Nothing will change. If you push yourself until here, nothing will change. If you push yourself though, your body above your threshold, then that's where the stimulus is. That distance between the two is the stimulus and is the result which you're gonna get after you recover. We all know that after exercise, we go home, we eat, we sleep. And usually, by the way, after 2 to 3 days, that muscle, it recovers almost completely. The nervous system is a different thing. Hey guys, if you wanna transform yourself completely, become a different person, I have an ebook below that explains physiology, training modalities, nutrition, everything and more you need to know. So link below. Thank you. You went to the gym, 8 reps. The 8th rep needs to be extremely hard, no matter what you do. The 6th rep, it doesn't matter. The last rep you do on a certain set you have, it needs to be extremely hard. Don't tell me you don't get enough results when you don't push yourself. I see these people that go 2 hours in the gym and they do this machine and that cable machine and this and that. Dude, come on. The equipment you use matters. If I pick a dumbbell, okay, and I do a shoulder press with a dumbbell, the stimulus I'm gonna get from the dumbbell, it's not the same as I sit on the machine and do this. Okay, I perform the same movement, yes, but the stimulus is not the same. Why? Because when I hold a dumbbell, imagine I have a 40-pound dumbbell in my hand. To hold it, all this needs to be stiff tension, okay? Needs to be stable. My whole arm from the shoulder to my fingers needs to be strong and stable. Then my chest have to help a little bit to stabilize the movement. My shoulder blades, my abs, my low back, my glutes, my legs, all these muscles need to work together for me to lift the weight. But if I sat on the machine, then you isolate the muscle, which personally I don't like. I understand in bodybuilding why they do it, and it is what they want, basically, isolating muscles. And sometimes there is a place even for athletes to isolate muscles. But for you especially, if you want the biggest amount of stimulus you can get from a workout, you need to train with free weights. And I want to say about the people that do calisthenics, by the way, it's the same principles, okay? Tension, load, and the movements you use. So basically means you need tension, you don't go fast on the movements. The time matters that you go up and down. Then the load, okay? In calisthenics, you can increase the weight you use because your body is your body, but in changing the movement, which is the third part, increases the weight. If I do push-ups on my knees, it's less weight on my chest and arms than if I do a normal push-up, right? If you're doing calisthenics and you use only your body weight and you cannot touch weight, you increase the load by changing the movement, making the movement harder, or it's fascinating, right? Or changing the time. You just go slower, tempo. So guys, if you can put any muscle mass, take this with you. It doesn't matter what you do. If you are outside of the gym, if you are in the gym, if you use these 3 principles, you will put muscle mass with time. Stimulus is the magic ingredient in exercise. You provide the right stimulus with a proper recovery, you are golden. There is not a person on this planet that cannot put muscle and get stronger. So you can change, you can get stronger, and you can put muscle mass. No excuse.